Laurs Shepherd Show. Here we go. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen like we do. Why, look at that! Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen like we do. Why that happened? Oh, you never know just how life is gonna go. So you jump in your boat and roll, roll, roll. Jump in your boat and roll, roll, roll. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen like aim high and go for your pie in the sky. Go ahead and trust yourself. Everything will right itself. Oh, life's a stream, so go ahead now, follow your dream. Jump in your boat and row, row, row. Jump in your boat and row, row, row. Here we go, everybody sing, ready? Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen and it could be good. Something's gonna happen like we do. It would. Hey, chorus. Up tall. Okay. Woo-wee. There's all sorts of exciting stuff gonna happen around here today. Let's see what the new day. Come on, do something exciting, right?
Oh, me?
Come on up. Yeah.
My time to show off?
Yeah, come on in. Come on in. Oh! Thank you. Sit down, Miss Riley. Oh, here, let me give you this little thingy on your. There we go. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You're coming. Riley Mathews, Ikigai. Oh, wait a minute. You be
Everybody
nice.
get a good laugh.
Get a good laugh. I know. I'm not usually so mean to my people who come on
okay,
stage.
I can take it.
No, IkigaiHealingarts.com.
Yes.
Hold up this.
Oh, my like 7th grade infographic.
No, it's not. It's a 7th grade infographic, and I'm going to hold it closer to this, just for everybody. Do we see it pretty good? All right, so.
Thank you.
Do you want to start with what's an Ikigai?
We can start there, or we can circle back. Whatever you prefer.
Let's start there.
Okay.
Because we made such a big deal of this
yeah,
Ikigai-ness of you. What is
Okay.
an Ikigai?
Okay, so Ikigai is actually a Japanese term.
Mm-hmm.
It means reason for being.
Reason for
Yes,
being.
reason for
Okay.
And it's actually beyond a term, it's a philosophy.
Hmm.
So the philosophy is that when 4 certain things overlap, you have found your reason for being.
And what are these?
So it's when what you're good at, what you love, what you get paid for, and what the world needs overlap.
Okay.
So that's the 4 overlapping circles.
Ah, yes, the symbology behind your.
Yes.
Look, and you even have a T-shirt.
Oh, I do.
And
I was gonna wear it, but I didn't want to spill coffee.
Okay, that's fine. that's the. And this is within a square, within a triangle, within a circle.
Oh yes.
Ooh.
Yeah. Do you know what that is?
No.
So this is the Philosopher's Stone. So this is the alchemical symbol. And alchemy is basically just like medieval chemistry. So that is symbolic of transmuting base metals into gold.
Okay.
It's also a psychological symbol for wholeness. So that's kind of how I'm using it. So you could use it as like your wounded self or your lower self is the base metal, and then your healed self is the gold. So my healing journey has resulted in me finding my reason for being.
All right. So Now, when we first met, you were really into plants and permaculture.
Yes.
And
Still am.
Still am. And so you do offer some permaculture.
Yeah, so I do education. I do not, a lot of times people want me to do work for them and actually, you know, plant the stuff and dig the hole. I don't do that anymore.
Okay.
I think it's really empowering to educate people, so that's what I'm focused on. And so maybe some people don't even know what permaculture is. Right?
Can you define permaculture real quick?
Okay, so permaculture is a design system that's focused on creating regenerative food and social systems. So it does that by mimicking nature and working with nature.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, and so so you've gone from or towards more the healing art.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, explain. Give us a go on that.
So I offer 3 different services here, right? Massage, somatic practices, and permaculture.
Okay, stop.
These are all
Somatic practices.
Okay.
Can we spell that?
SOMAT. I have to look.
Okay,
ICI.
that's all right.
Somatic practices. So somatic, the root of the word soma, refers to the body as experienced from within. So somatic,
As experienced
from within,
Okay.
our inner awareness. So somatic practices are focused on strengthening that inner awareness. And that's a healing art because it's been shown that through movement, through meditation, breath work, you can actually, instead of intellectualizing the process, you can just start releasing traumas that are stored in the nervous system and in the body.
Okay, so you believe that traumas can be stored in your body?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
That's how
everybody's like, absolutely. All right. Yeah. Common knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually how I got involved in all of these things, was just through my own healing journey. Because as a young person, I experienced a lot of trauma. And that resulted in, I was basically just in fight or flight all the time.
Fight or flight,
Fight or
like
flight.
your body was in this fight or flight.
Your body, when you experience trauma, will like freeze or run, one or the other. And so fight or flight is just commonly used to describe that. And so if you wanted to label it, I was kind of like, I had complex PTSD basically. And so my entire adult life has just been focused on healing that. So I had to rewire my brain and my nervous system and get my body and my mind back to a place of homeostasis. And all of these things, this is how I healed myself. And so this is now what I offer to other people.
Okay, and if somebody, so if somebody was interested in permaculture, you could go to their house and educate them a bit, and give them a plan of some sort?
So what I do is I meet with people on their property, and we take a tour together, and I will observe the landscape. So I'll look for like low points in the land where water might, where it might flood. I'll see where the most sun is, where the most shade is. And then I'll ask questions like, how do you want to use this space? Is there a particular food you want to grow? Things like that. And then based off of my observations and their answers, I will recommend certain design strategies. And I'll give a rough sketch. They get an information booklet that teaches them how to build soil, things like that.
Yep. And that, it's interesting because permaculture isn't necessarily a healing art, but it is, I guess, because it's...
I think so.
Like we are part of the system.
We are, but I think in many ways that we've forgotten that. And I have it's not a theory, it's a hypothesis.
Oh.
A hypothesis, I was saying theory for a while. It's hypothesis.
Can we define the difference between a theory and a hypothesis? Somebody look that up.
Yeah, please.
Okay, carry on. She has a hypothesis.
Yes. That we would see less depression and anxiety if more people were involved in meeting more of their own needs. Instead of outsourcing them. We outsource most of our own needs now. So especially needs like growing food and working with nature. Because I think, my hypothesis, is that life is intrinsically rewarding. And that you would experience that if you were actively engaged with nature and in that life cycle.
That's giving me kind of goosebumps. Yeah. Intrinsically rewarding.
Yeah, so the meaning of life is life itself, That's what I think.
All right, and so moving on from just the permaculture part, so the somatic part of your practice. How would you? So let's say I'm coming to you for a healing.
Yes.
I guess I would call it a
well,
healing.
I don't consider myself a healer in that way. I hold a space for healing to occur. So
okay, so
some healing work together. Yeah.
Yep. And so, what sort of somatic practices might you?
Okay, so it would be dependent. I would have a chat beforehand and see like.
Oh, it's individual.
Yes.
Oh, it's individual.
It's tailored. So what do you want to get out of the session? What are some things you want to work on maybe? And then based on that, I'll put together like a little 60-minute session that will involve moving our bodies in some way. So we could do like ecstatic dance or yoga or Tai Chi. And then we would combine that with some sort of breath work and meditation and maybe some gentle stretching or body work.
Okay, and then is this something that I would then probably want to carry on and do more of at home by myself? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I could absolutely show you some techniques that you could do on your own.
And a typical session with you is an hour or more?
I offer 60-minute sessions or 90-minute sessions.
And so I come to you with my bum knee, and you want me to dance ecstatically?
That's a good point, a good question. So I offer any of these services individually or together combined. And the way that you would combine permaculture into this is just to do it outdoors in nature.
Right. Yeah. Okay, and what was the third step there? The massage? Okay.
Yeah, so...
And massage. So what brand of massage are we?
Brand. Okay.
Or what type of massage?
Yeah. So I specialize in myofascial release and trigger point therapy.
Myofascial release.
Yes.
And trigger point therapy. Because it's interesting. With the last show, we had a woman on, April, and she was talking about the fifth world. But anyways, she's big on the fascia.
Yeah.
And she was talking about how the fascia is a triple helix and something.
Wow.
Yeah. Interesting person.
Yeah.
Okay. So you focus on the fascia.
Yep. And so for people who don't know what fascia is, it's one of the connective tissues in the body. And
Like when you see a piece of meat, it's a kind of
like the skin around the chicken breast. That's like your fascia. So, but you have that at several different layers. So you have it around entire groups of muscles. Then you have it around individual muscles, and then you'll find fascia around the individual muscle fibers. So there's many layers.
Okay, and how come we're just starting to talk about this now? Because, I mean, it used to be massage was just like, you rub your muscles.
Right.
And nobody was talking about, I mean, the Chinese were, but other than them, why are we not talking about, to your health folks, what is it about this fascia that has...
Well, maybe we don't talk about it perhaps because there's no incentive to really heal people. But we're not going to go there. So what's so healing about massage and myofascial release is that when you're, so a lot of us engage,
Yes, thank you.
I'm always watching my posture. So when we're engaged in repetitive behaviors or activities like most of us are, whether it's like everyone's on their computer nowadays, so we get into these holding patterns with our muscles. So a lot of people have rounded shoulders, which means their pec muscles are tight. When your muscles get in holding patterns and they get tight, that means your fascia is also bunched up. And it starts getting little adhesions. And then you get knots in your muscles, which then you develop trigger points, right? So those are those areas where when you push on them, you feel it referring somewhere else, and it's tender and painful. So when we stretch all that out and open it up, and then with trigger point therapy, we use sustained pressure, and then release, and then pressure to pump new blood and oxygen into that area, and nutrients, and that's how we heal the muscle.
And where are your clients coming from?
So I'm located I have a brick and mortar location in St. Pete at the Metta Center. It's a collective.
The Metta Center?
Yes, the Metta Center. And
where is that?
It's at 4554 Central Avenue.
Okay.
And a lot of the people I work with are people who are in chronic pain or have had a surgery or a serious injury. So I'm not so much into like the relaxation spa types, which that's great in and of itself, but that's not really the service that I provide.
Now, where did you do any schooling for permaculture?
Yes. Yeah.
Where did you do your permaculture studies?
So I have a degree in sustainable living from Maharishi University of Management. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Now that I think of it. In Fairfield, Iowa. And so as part of that degree program, I studied permaculture and I became a certified permaculture designer.
Yeah.
So I've been studying and practicing permaculture since 2011.
Yeah, okay. And your particular brand of massage, where did you study?
I studied at Cortina Institute, Florida, which used to be in Pinellas Park and now it's in St. Pete.
And how did you got into the healing arts to heal yourself?
Yeah, so I had a lot of like emotional, psychological trauma as a child, but then as an adult in my early 30s, I actually was in a pretty bad car accident. And I sustained a spinal injury, and if you see, I have a scar here. So
I can hardly see it, but so whatever you're doing is going
yeah,
away.
it's the comfrey salve I make.
Okay, comfrey salve for
Plug for
scars.
that. So I actually had a surgery. So I have a plastic disc now. I had an anterior cervical discectomy. So for about they move your trachea
That's a big
over.
word.
and
That's
they-
a big word.
So I'm a person who has dealt with a lot of chronic pain myself and had to overcome and re-strengthen my body and my core after the surgery. So I think that that's like a really great thing I bring into my massage practice.
Yep. And I mean, what makes you want to massage other people?
I think that touch is so healing. Can I touch?
Yes, you may. Carry on.
Permission to
Yes.
touch. I think just touch in and of itself is a wonderful thing and a healing thing. We need more of it. But, you know, when you have scientific information about how to manipulate the body so that it's actually, like, doing things, that's even better. So, for me, it's been part of my own healing journey and something I want to share with others.
All right. What, tell me something.
Tell me something.
Oh, Lord.
Tell me something
Oh,
good.
maybe a little education piece
A little education
about
piece.
permaculture?
Or about whatever you, tell me something. Share something with me and the world.
Yeah, because we could tie it into community, because we're
Yes.
doing community here, right?
Yes.
So, because permaculture has a community aspect to it. So, one thing that I really like helping people to do is design food forests. So, taking out their grass and doing a food forest. And this is a great example of how permaculture mimics nature. So, if you go out into a regular forest, just out in the wild, you'll see several different spatial layers, right? You'll see the canopy, which is the tallest trees. You'll see the understory. Then the shrub layer, the herbaceous layer, the ground cover, the vines, the roots, the fungi. So what you want to do is you want to mimic all those layers in a food forest, but obviously you want to do food. You want to do edible stuff or medicinal stuff. Or if you have chickens, like your neighbors do,
Like the
you
neighbors.
can grow fodder for your chickens. So you're mimicking a regular forest, but you're putting in stuff that you want to specifically use. And then you're creating relationships between all of these elements in your food forest so that they could be maximally productive. Right? And we do that in community too. Like you can't have just a community of all doctors or a community of all bakers or whatever. Like everyone has to help each other out. And you know, in monocropping, which is industrial agriculture now, it's like having a community full of doctors or bakers or, you know, all the same thing.
Not that we have anything against
No,
doctors.
but you need
We'll be-
diversity in order to have resilience. That's how nature is resilience. Is resilient. It's through its diversity.
And so when people come to you for a particular health issue, I presume you're talking to them about this community and trying to, I mean, how do you connect
How do
that?
I weave in community?
Yes.
I think that's more of an emergent property. I don't think that that's something that you have to discuss. It's something that's naturally occurring.
An emergent
Yeah.
property. I
Yeah.
love it.
It's not something that you have to intellectualize.
Oh, okay.
Like, we're not talking about this, really. We're just doing it. We're all hanging out, getting to know each other.
All right. Do you want to tell us anything about myofascial release?
I love it. Not in particular, no. But at my brick and mortar place, you do need an appointment. I'm only there by an appointment, so. And I can't do same day. You have to give me at least a 24-hour notice.
Okay, so they can, Riley Mathews IkigaiHealingArts.com, and there's a phone number here, 813-468-0598.
Yes, and one more thing.
And one more
If I
thing.
may.
Yes, of course.
If you ever do want to get a massage with me, but you don't want to book a full hour and you want to just see like what my touch is like and meet me in person to see what my energy is like, you can come to Sumitra Espresso Lounge. I'm there every Thursday and Saturday, 6 to 9, and you can get a chair massage.
Ooh.
And plus, it's the best coffee
We
in town.
love
That's
that.
easy coffee.
Yeah.
It's a-
Shout out to Maurice.
Yeah, it's a nice,
Ooh, yay.
Great community space.
it is a great community space. I find that there's all sorts of people there.
Yeah.
Okay, and is there something else you'd care to share?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but if anyone has any questions or you have a question, I'm happy to answer it.
All right. There's no more
No, it's all
questions.
very, very interesting.
Say again, Sumitra, when you're there.
Oh, yeah, wait, wait.
I'm at Sumitra Espresso Lounge every Thursday and Saturday, 6 to 9 p.m.
Yeah, so
Gulfport.
And there's
So
live
Gulfport.
music happening at the same time, so it's a nice vibe.
Yeah, so you can just get a couple of minutes of,
Yeah.
and even, do you feel like that even in 5 or 10 minutes, somebody could get some relief from?
I feel like 5 to 10 minutes you can get a sense of my energy.
Absolutely.
But if you actually want a release of some sort, you're going to need 20 minutes at least.
Okay, well, 20 minutes, that would be good if you could
Yeah.
help somebody in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I would like to offer you this from my little food for
Ah.
and I don't know,
You got a
this
little
is
sunburn.
no, it's just it's a little bit. That's when they're really good, when they start getting kind of pitty like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not handing you rotten fruit. I'm sure you know that.
Okay.
But
It's a little
right.
fermented even
It's
better.
a little fermented, even better. Thank you very much for taking time
Thank
to
you.
come.
Yay.
And I love the fact that the idea of this sort of permaculture and health and everything being together.
Yeah, thank
Yay!
you.
I really appreciate your time.
Mhm.
Yay!
Yay, thanks
All
for
right.
having.
Oh wait! Before you go,
Yeah.
I have something. Just sit down for one more second.
Okay.
Just because I just want to talk about these seeds, and I might as well talk
Okay.
about them with you.
Oh, great. Now I'm not going to know how this answer.
No, well, you don't have to know about the answer. I just wanted to show everybody because I
Okay.
like. Do you know what this one is? No, sapote. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
that
it's
makes
a sapote
sense.
seed.
That's
Look how
a
big
big
that is.
seed.
That's huge.
Yeah, and it's kind of a tropically fruit.
That's kind of weird, actually, because sapote is so like soft and.
Yeah, that was in
Wow.
somebody. I think it was a type of sapote. Somebody brought it. These two. This is that the chocolate pudding plant. What's they call? What do they call that? You know the.
I thought that was a variety. Of
It is a
sapote.
variety of sapote.
Yeah.
And we had one on the show, but it wasn't quite ripe. And these are the seeds that
Wow.
end up. I just like seeds, and they're beautiful, and I collect them. This is a little dish that came from New Zealand. A friend of mine made it, and so I just like a little show and tell.
I feel like you're planting seeds right now in the community.
That's
you know?
right.
What you
And
do.
then, guess you know what these ones are? You don't know? I'll tell you. I'm not trying to trick anybody. These fun little things. These are.
They look like really big raisins.
They look like really big raisins. But you know what they are? They're what is that fruit? I can't think of it right now. It's got the shell, and you open it up. It looks like an eyeball.
Oh, I call them dragon eyes.
Yeah.
The longan?
No, but something similar to a long. And,
Yeah, I know.
anyways, there you go.
Lychee?
I don't know either. Lychee
Yeah.
fruit. Yep, this is a lychee fruit. And then these ones for those of you that were watching last time, and we were talking about the cherimoya. There, these are the cherimoya
Oh, that's the
seeds.
tree you have back here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, if you need any of these seeds, you
Oh.
can take them when you leave. Okay, thanks. Thanks for talking about
Thanks,
seeds
Laura.
with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. See, that is so interesting. All of that is super interesting to me. Now we are going to change our focus just slightly. I'm going to get Lucy Flute back up here for a minute to chitty chat with us. I'm just going to wet my whistle. Miss Flute, how are you?
I am
Fine.
and
I'm going to pin
this
this
is
on.
this is my first interview. I've played a lot with you, but I've never been.
Oh,
actually
you've never been interviewed.
with the mic on.
I know, and we had to, I had to I had to ask more than once, which is fine. No is an okay answer. You didn't say no until it turns into a yes. The reason that you're here at this particular moment, Lucy Staines, because you are part of the New Horizons Band of Gulfport. All right, ta-da!
Yay.
I love how all the guests today were very good about making little, we're going to hold this up.
And you can see the logo, it's very recognizable. This is
Yeah.
an international organization. And in America, we have about 200 of these New Horizons bands. And they were invented by a fellow named Roy Ernst in 1991.
Oh.
And so we've now had our 30th anniversary.
Wow.
And going strong. And the idea behind this, Roy is associated with Eastman School of Music in Rochester, New York, and was the music chair for 12 years, and of course was a professor for 25 years at that school. And he's approaching retirement, and he wanted to have a way to bring more people, especially older folks who may be looking at retiring, say the 50-plus demographic, who have never played an instrument, and now they're got some free time and would like to learn an instrument, or they have not played an instrument since they were a child, and they would like to maybe try that again, or try a different instrument. So this organization supports these type of people, and we have one in Gulfport, and it's the New Horizons Band of Gulfport, and we do have a website. It's the New Horizons Band, without the of, Gulfport, one word, .org. And there are lots and lots of information and pictures and videos, and you can actually even join the band by clicking on Join Us and fill out a little information about yourself. And I am presently the membership chairman. We're about to have some elections, so I can't promise I'll still be there.
Yeah, you could join the band and be on the board.
Yes. And the board is constantly looking for more people to get involved. But yeah, it's a community organization.
There's different segments of time, like when.
Okay, we have 3 sessions. We call them. They're kind of seasons a year, each about 15 weeks in length, and we have new music for each session, and sometimes a new conductor. We hire professional conductors, and who are also teachers. So you get a lesson, a music lesson, and you get the camaraderie and really it's hard to describe the feeling of playing your little part and being part of perhaps 50 people. We usually have between 30 and 50 people in the band.
So somebody could join up and just commit for one session.
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
so if you were here just in the summer, or
exactly,
if you
we
were,
have many that do. They live in different places. And there is a fee, dues, it's actually minimal for the entire 15 weeks. It's $25.
Ooh,
So,
Yeah.
Nothing.
and the money goes towards what? Music and
It's
paying a
towards the
conductor?
hiring of the conductor and the music, because we get new music, and sometimes we recycle the old music, but we like to keep things fresh. And the difficulty level is very broad. We like to challenge and also encourage. So, nothing too simple, nothing too difficult.
where?
All right.
Where do you-
And we meet Tuesday
play?
evenings at the Gulfport Senior Center, which is near the library. I don't know the exact address, but it's, you can, I guess, Google Gulfport Senior Center.
Where do you play?
And then where
And
all
then-
do you perform?
Okay, we perform generally in Gulfport. We're at the Casino, which is a very, very nice dance hall and has a nice amphitheater, and also the Hickman Theater, which is a proper
Sit-down
theatrical
theater, yeah.
theater. And we recently performed in Oldsmar by invitation. There was a festival of bands, and we we're participating with, I forget how many, but about a dozen other area bands put together by the Dunedin group, who is quite a bit larger, but they also have New Horizons bands in different places and also community bands. And we also play, well, anytime a community organization would like to have a group, we have a volunteer band that's a little bit smaller and less formal, who will do things like afternoon teas or anytime it's classical music and marches, show music, Broadway shows.
Would
things
you
like that.
would you play a little flute number for us? I'm going to leave the stage while you do so, just because I like to give you a full. I know you said it wasn't going to be too long, but I'm going to give you full.
Your attention.
All right, just to give a lot of people maybe have not heard a flute play like a flute can play, and this is from. I started playing when I was 9, so a lot of the people in the band are new. They're not going to play like this, but okay, here goes. I like to stand. Or something like that. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. It's a dance.
Fabulous.
Okay, so the New Horizons, there's also a jazz band and a marching band.
We have kind of subgroups. We have our green band, which is the beginner band that meets from 5 to 5:45, and those are the ones that are just learning to read music and just starting out. And then some of the people in the green band feel prepared to play with. Go from 6 o'clock to 7:30.
And I feel
like
like
a concert band, and then, well, there's also a jazz band, and some of the members of the concert band play in the jazz band, but the jazz band is limited in size. It's a smaller group, so we have openings occasionally, and you have to have special permission from our drummer, who is also the band manager for the jazz band, and these that would be on the band's website. And there's a gecko band as well that has a dotted line, but they are pretty independent and they practice on different days. And the gecko band is the one that plays for different parades and does. They'll go walk through a bar. They'll do all the events in Gulfport.
They do the fun
Just so fun.
Gulfport stuff.
Yeah, you played saxophone
I
for a
did,
bit
yes,
with them.
yes, I was playing saxophone.
That's what I find interesting about this band. I guess if you're at a certain level, you can try and get a position in the jazz band. But if you're totally new, you can come and be in the green band, and then you can. So you have always been a flute player, but you wanted an experience being a saxophonist.
Right.
So that allowed you to. And now you've moved on to piano, I hear.
Well, this upcoming, I'll be playing in the jazz band on piano. Yes, yes. And we have quite a few of our members play multi-instruments. We also let people, switch if they feel like it. right now we have openings. We would love to find an oboe player,
Oboe!
a bassoon player,
Bassoon!
and actually anything that anyone would like to play is more than welcome. And we encourage the 50-plus age group, but we have actually 2 high school students who play with us, and they're very special students, and we welcome them as well. So it's, we have our intention, and then we're open, and there is absolutely no judgment, no competition or intimidation whatsoever. It's very, very supportive, and we just promote this whole community of
Community!
people that want to join together and do great music, and it's a wonderful thing, socially and also for the community at our concerts.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to hand you this little lovely bouquet of flowers. Thank you so much for your time, Lucy, for explaining this to us. And
Yes,
I really appreciate
and thank you for giving me the opportunity to spread the word.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
New
Thank you.
the New Horizons Band of Gulfport. But if you happen to be in Virginia or other places all over I bet there's a
Yes.
map of the whole world.
Yes.
Yes.
They're in every state in America.
Every
Thanks so
state.
much.
Very good. All right. Well, that's pretty darned exciting. I love the fact that somebody who's been a flute player decides they want to play saxophone, and there's a place for that, and I guess it's nice to be encouraged at all levels. All right, Dr. Jeff to the stage! Dr. Jeff! This is, I love everybody's come so prepared today with different, let's make sure that, is this inside the view? We're going to have to look at, you're going to have to come closer to us with that. Bring it this way. Yep, come on in, closer. Are we, even more? So, well, we can move this over up because we want it in the picture, as long as you've gone to the trouble of making it.
Good.
All right. Now, Dr. Jeff, are you a real doctor?
An acupuncture doctor.
An acupuncture doctor. Okay. Well, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's Jeff McConnell, handsforhealing.com.
Correct.
Hands for Healing. There's a lot of healing going on. Heal past band trauma. You can heal. And would you enlighten us? you have this. Should we talk about what you've written on this board, or do you want to give us some? So you're an acupuncturist.
Yes, I actually have a few different things I do. I actually have like 2 parts of my career. I have my teaching career and my medical career. So the teaching career, I started off teaching in a massage school for about 20 years. And now I've transitioned to, I teach continuing education to nurses and massage therapists. And I teach at Everglades University in Tampa in the alternative medicine program. And then the medical part of my practice, I have a clinic that's on MLK and 72nd Avenue North.
MLK and 72nd Avenue North. And they can find you, you guys can find more of it at handsforhealing.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And in my medical practice, I kind of have a spectrum that I do between acupuncture, massage therapy, shiatsu, Reiki, just a spectrum of things. And so what I really wanted to talk about today is the idea of energy medicine. So,
energy medicine. Ooh, whoa, ooh.
And so when I put my sign on for my office out in front, I put the name of my company and the contact stuff. But then I put acupuncture, energy medicine, massage therapy, and I put them in that order because I've done massage therapy for a long time, and I like it. I'm good at it. I don't feel as much draw to it as much in that end of the spectrum as what I'm going to be talking about with energy medicine, such as acupuncture, Reiki, polarity. But one day, I actually got woke up. I just had this idea, just woke me up, and I had this idea of treatment frequency.
Treatment frequency.
Yeah,
not the how often, but the frequencies like
Well,
this.
you're going right to where I went. Yeah.
Okay.
So initially, when I think of the term treatment frequency, it's like how many times per week do I want my patient to come into the office to get treatment? And that's what most of us think of. But one day I realized that it's actually more than that, because there's a spectrum between the physical world and the non-physical world, energetically, and it's all energy medicine. And so it's the idea that, like for example, Nikola Tesla.
Nikola Tesla. Oh, he was into energy, wasn't he?
He clearly was. And one of the things that he said, which I thought was such a great quote, is, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And that's really what has my passion, because when I first went to massage school, well, I wanted to learn about massage. That was kind of in the back. What I really wanted to learn about was energy. Because I had done martial arts, and when you do martial arts at any level, you learn about chi or ki and how to move your energy. Because if you're a 110-pound woman, you know, how much physical strength can you generate with that body? There's a physical limit, but the amount of energy you can move is unlimited. So that's from a martial art point of view. But it's also from an energetic point of view. You know, how are the various parts of your body moving? And so I decided just to describe it in those terms. So another thing that I've always, not that I know a lot about physics, but Einstein's the idea of E equals mc squared, where energy, E stands for energy, m is the mass. So again, let's say you have a 110-pound person, that's their mass. And the c is the speed of light squared, which is 186,000 miles per second times 186,000 miles per second times 110 pounds. That's how much energy you have. So it's not like we ever run out of energy, but the energy is not always properly flowing through all the various parts of us, whether it's from the muscular system, the nervous system, the chakra system. Is it properly moving? And then the idea of frequency is just like a sine wave. You have a positive cycle and a negative cycle, and in 1 second, that's considered 1 hertz. And in an outlet, you have 60 hertz, 60 cycles per second. And the Chinese version of that is yin and yang. Yin is the substantial, physical part of us. The yang is the non-substantial part, the earth, the sky. And it's a philosophy that can be applied to both medicine, food therapy, a variety of different things. But they're basically talking about the similar idea. They're talking about the solid world and the non-solid world. So everything in the universe is vibrating. It's either vibrating slow enough that we're perceiving as a solid matter, or it's fast enough or not. So I teach Reiki classes. So I use this.
Okay, now that way you've been throwing this word Reiki around.
Oh, okay. Reiki is a
The
form.
acupuncture, I think most people understand. Give us a little definition of the word Reiki.
Reiki is it's a Japanese word that means universal life energy.
Ikigai! Ikigai!
Yes. And so,
Excuse me. Okay, Reiki, go ahead.
yeah. So Dr. Usui was this doctor who rediscovered the art of Reiki, which apparently is a very old ability. But it's the idea that, like for example, if I'm a healthy person and you come to see me and I want to help you, if I'm healthier or stronger than you, and if I put my hands on you to help you, my natural chi or energy is going to go to the weaker or sicker person because I'm stronger than you. It'll go that way if I'm trying to help you. So if you're my friend, that's fine. I can help you as often as I want. But if I have a medical practice and I got 10 people that day and I'm giving all 10 people my chi level is decreasing. But if you get attuned by a Reiki practitioner, Reiki master, we put these symbols, these Sanskrit symbols in your crown chakra.
Sanskrit symbols.
Yes,
Okay.
the Sanskrit language is a very old language that comes out of India. And there's these symbols, and the analogy most of us use is if there was metal filings on the table, and I had a magnet, I could move the filings around because the magnet is pulling the metal. It's the same idea that these symbols somehow attract this universal energy that's available to everybody. It pulls it in through our crown chakra and distributes out through the whole body. So if I want to heal somebody, it's not my energy. It's the universe's energy flowing through me to get to my patient. So if I did 10 people, I'm being energized 10 times versus depleting my own personal energy.
And so, do you teach Reiki by chance?
I do.
Yeah, okay, because Lucy was interested in Reiki, so there you go.
Which, by the way, yeah, like for example, my colleague here, she does massage for a living, like I do. But not everybody wants to be a practitioner. But if you learn how to do Reiki for your own life, you can put it into your food, you can send it into your loved ones, you can send it into yourself, you can heal the planet. It's an ability we all have. It's like your house was wired by an electrician. It's built into the house. You plug yourself into the outlet on the wall, on the street, and now energy is supplied to the house. But the house was already wired. God or the creator or however we were made designed you to have these circuits. Chakras are vortexes, pathways of energy, It's all built in. We may not all be aware of it or using them all properly, but they're built in. And those of us who understand multiple levels, we can treat you on multiple levels. So I like to look at it like a spectrum of frequency. So if you look at from slow to fast, on the slow end of things is solids, like a solid block of ice. The molecules in that is moving very slow. A physical body, she has muscles, trigger points, scar tissue, blood, nerves. That's a solid body, that's reality. But if we move it up a little bit faster, now you have liquid water. Now you have steam. It's still all water, it's just in various states of it. As you move up the spectrum, we get, so for example, I can put liquid massage oil, so I have a glide to the tissue. I can put the smell of certain essential oils in the air, so lavender helps you relax, you know, peppermint perks you up. It's a frequency that's coming in through the olfactory system. If I move up a little faster, I get the sound. So most massage therapists, acupuncturists, we play nice music. So if someone just lays down on the table, within 10 minutes they're half relaxed just from the music, because the frequency and tone and pace, which musicians know better than I do, but there's a certain thing that chills us out and quiets us, and there's other stuff that enlightens us. You know, marching band gets you up and moving, you know. Martial music gets you up and ready to move down battle, and other stuff calms you down. It's a frequency. But not everybody hears all the frequencies. Like your dog or your cat can hear frequencies above or below what you can hear. They're not crazy when they look at something, they just hear something you're not perceiving. So music or sound has a tremendous healing effect. And if we move up this frequency, we get to electricity. So when I do acupuncture, I can occasionally put electric stim onto the needle. So I'm
All right, so you would put a needle in a person and then hook an electric.
Yeah, it's a small charge, but yeah, I sometimes joke around there when people are dancing around, but it's a lower voltage. But by putting the electrical stim into the needle, it's helping to stimulate the chi. Whereas in the old days, back before they had electricity, the doctor would stimulate the needle with his or her hands to stimulate to get the chi to activate that point more strongly. Well, now we can also use electricity to help us. And then, and of course you can use all sorts of electricity, from ultrasound to E-stim to various forms of frequencies of energy that's coming in therapeutically. And then if we move up a little bit faster, we have heat. So if I put a hot pack on somebody's low back while I'm working on their neck, the heat energy is transferred into the connective tissue, the fascia, and it goes from being a thick, more solid state to a more soluble, flexible, fluid state. So the fascia will move. So you don't have to like force it. It'll just glide if you give it a chance. And fascia responds to heat. Usually it's the heat of the massage therapist's hands, but it can be a hot pack. It can be an infrared lamp.
Yeah, infrared
exactly.
lamp. I've had that done.
And then if you get up to light therapy is real. It does all kinds of stuff.
Oh my goodness, you're very woo-woo. What do you mean light therapy? I'm totally teasing you. It's like, it's funny, like the idea that vibration and or light could affect your health.
Exactly. Well, that's it. We're either perceiving things as sound or vibration, which is on the next page. But so a human can see from red to violet. Something slower than red is infrared. I can't see that. Faster than violet is ultraviolet. I can't see that. So a human can see from that spectrum. But there's animals out there, because we've seen like colored birds and stuff, there's probably frequencies that animals can see that we can't see. It's just the design of their eyes. But the various colors affect various energy centers. So if somebody has a throat chakra issue, that's the color light blue. So a light blue shade, whether it's on my clothing or in the room, has an influence on that. People are like, oh, I like yellow, it's my color. People resonate with certain vibrations. And it seems out there, but from a science point of view, blue is vibrating at a different frequency than red. So if you have like a cold laser and they have blue lights and red lights, they're different frequencies of light energy that's coming into you. And then if
So I'm going to prescribe a pink sweater for you, and you get light green and fuchsia. Okay, great.
See, that works. And then faster than light is ultraviolet. Of course, we can't see ultraviolet, but we can tell that somebody's been around ultraviolet because the skin color changes. He's either burned or tanned, because we can see the effect of that yang energy after the fact, but we can't see ultraviolet. It's too fast. And then x-rays, of course, we need to protect ourselves from x-rays. So if you go to the dentist and they're going to work on your teeth, they put a lead vest on you. So
But don't worry, x-rays are safe.
Yeah. Sure. So, yeah, but they're protecting you from those x-rays going into your thyroid, your thymus by putting this vest on it. And then the astral level, not everybody believes in the astral world, but there are literally thousands and thousands of people who have written books about their experience in the astral world. I have a tendency to believe that they're not all lying. There is an astral world. I've never traveled it as far as I'm aware, but there are people who have. I know it is. And there are people who have left their body and traveled, and they've come back, and they've got stories of it. So that's faster yet. And the thing that I get most excited about is the idea that mentally and thought. A lot of you guys who are into alternative stuff like you seem to be, you've probably heard of Dr. Emoto, E-M-O-T-O.
The water guy.
The water guy.
Yeah.
The water guy's got pictures. If you look up on the internet, Dr. Emoto was a Japanese scientist, and he's now passed away. I had a chance to meet him. Well, not meet him in person, but go to an event. He had a machine that could look at the molecular level and take pictures. So he decided to study water, since it seems to be the basis of life, and he traveled the planet and collected samples of water. Some of it was clean, some of it was dirty, some of it was moving, some of it was still. But it was always water. He took it back to the laboratory, and he would take small little samples of water and he'd freeze it. And as the water would freeze and crystallize, he would subject the water to various phenomena to see how the water would react. So one thing he tried was music. When he played heavy metal music, there was no discernible pattern. But when he played classical music, it would look like a bright snowflake. It was geometric and beautiful. He tried prayer. He took dirty water, took a picture of it. More than likely, none of us would drink that water if our waiter brought it to us, because it looks pretty nasty. He had some Japanese priests pray over the water. It looked dramatically different.
This is interesting. I'm going to interrupt you just for saying, you know how we are taught to say grace,
Yeah.
you know, and it's blessing your food,
It's
and
true,
so
it works.
this idea of putting your intention, because that's what he did when the masters prayed over the water, they put a healing intention into the water, and it actually physically changed it. So I suppose the idea that when you eat your food, you can actually pray over it and maybe really affect matter so that it's more.
It seems to be the case, yeah. He took small containers and he put a label on the container. He'd write a word or two. And if he wrote a word that we think is a positive word, like love, peace, joy, it would be a beautiful snowflake image. If he wrote bad words, it would look dramatically different. So whether you're saying bad words to somebody else or you're saying bad words to yourself, your cells apparently are listening. You have 73 trillion cells. You're the CEO of this gigantic corporation of all these workers. They don't know anything other than what you tell it. If I say I'm awesome, it's not I'm awesome and you're not awesome. We're all freaking awesome. It's just we need to vibrate at that frequency, not at a fear frequency. Because fear is a very low vibrating frequency. It hurts your kidneys. It's a low frequency. Love is a very high frequency. There's a difference on the spectrum. And the fact that our mind, our thoughts are faster than all of this reality, and all this stuff works. I mean, we can do stuff at every one of these levels. But our mind's intention, our mind's perception of reality is affecting reality. I got a chance to see him when he came to St. Pete, and he also showed pictures to water. And the two that I remember, because we were all crammed into this church, one was a pod of dolphins jumping through a wave, and one was an elephant. So the one of the dolphins jumping through the wave is just amazingly beautiful. Everybody in the church is going, ooh, and if there's any animal that seems to be having fun in water, it's a dolphin. And then the picture of an elephant was, so I said, hey, draw me a picture of an elephant. You're not going to draw me a photograph. The water formed a head, ears, and a trunk. It was an elephant by any art standard. The water molecule is responding to the thought of the doctor. The water on the desk is responding to their thought. So if the water on the desk will respond if you write the word love or hate on a label, and it knows, then the water inside your heart muscle or inside your brain cells, they're responding just as much because they're your cells. And those of us who believe in some sort of spiritual connection or God, if God or the Creator is omnipresent, the most prevalent thing we found in the universe so far is hydrogen atoms. So if you take two hydrogen atoms and an oxygen atom and you bring them together, we call that water. Well, those three little molecules sitting in the desk as the doctor writes love or hate, they know it because it's intelligence. We got, every cell of our body has that.
It's amazing.
So
Okay,
our
we have
mind
about
is
we
huge.
have about 5 minutes, And so what can you, yeah, that is, the interesting the idea is that your thoughts are things, and how you think about stuff will help. All
Yeah.
right, let's see.
So I have
we
this
got
idea.
5 minutes here. Go
Okay.
right, yeah.
So I used to be an engineer, long ago, and so when I used to make these funny health talks, and I tried to say, well, I used to troubleshoot and repair equipment, and now I'm diagnosing and treating humans, and I try to make a funny analogy between the two. Is it plugged in? Is he eating breakfast and those kind of things? But I actually now have a piece of equipment that I've bought. I haven't finished all the training on it, but it's called an Accugraph. So as a field engineer, I could take my multimeter, plug it in on the circuit and go, oh, this is how much voltage is here. This is how much resistance is in the circuit. This Accugraph is now, electronics has finally caught up with ancient history. We can now measure a person's chi level and the resulting resistance going through the body. So my left knee bothers me a little bit more than the right knee from playing soccer. So the resistance going through this knee is different than the resistance going through this knee. We've measured it in electronics. So the way
That doesn't sound very woo-woo.
I know.
That sounds
I know.
concrete.
I want to keep coming back to science. So one of the ideas in electronics is step-down transformers. So out on the street, you got 220 volts coming into here so you can run your washing machine. But your radio only takes 120 volts, so you have a step-down transformer. The way I see the chakra system is kind of like that. We have this universal or cosmic divine energy coming in through our crown chakra, and it goes over to hormonal energy, which is your pituitary gland. And this crown chakra has to do with your cosmic consciousness, your relationship to the divine, your connection to the source, however you see that. And then as you step down the energy, then it goes into the third eye, your intellect, your intuition, your telepathy. That's your pineal gland. And then you step down the energy a little slower, you get to your throat chakra, your ability to communicate, speak your truth, your thyroid gland. You bring it down to the heart chakra, your ability to feel love, empathy, emotion, unconditional love, which, by the way, we can send back to ourselves, unconditionally loving ourselves. And that's the thymus gland. And then you step it down a little bit further, you get to the solar plexus, that's the pancreas. Digestive energy has things with like your self-confidence, your will, your personal power. I mean, what if you had the self-confidence you had when you were 2, and you could take it into your adult life? Not be an obnoxious 2-year-old, but a 2-year-old who's just like full of confidence. What if we had that as an adult? That's that chakra working at full power. Then we have our dantian, the one below our belly button, and then we have our root chakra. Have to do with survival issues. A lot of people are struggling with survival, financial, emotionally. They're struggling. They're at that level. Now, it might be outside their control because they're living in Ukraine or whatever, but that level of vibration is different to work with than the people who have all that stuff taken care of, and now they're working on their higher centers. And then
We got 2 minutes.
Okay. All right. So we have our physical body, which is more the yin, and our non-physical body, which is more the yang. So we have our mental body, our emotional body, our chemical or hormonal body, and then we have our physical body. So how are you aligned with gravity? Your muscles and fascia, trigger points, scar tissue, the strength and length of your various muscles.
I'm going to interrupt you here because we've only got about a minute left.
Okay.
Okay. If people are interested, they can make an appointment with
Yes.
you, and you are treating the whole person using all of these modalities.
Yes, but with one caveat. It'd be like, one of the ideas that I came up with, I think my idea is, what frequency am I going to intercede at as the doctor to help my patient the most? Let's say, for example, my patient was a young teenage athlete, and she's a soccer player and always kicks with her right leg. Her right hip flexors are going to be stronger than left hip flexors. 10 years later, she's not playing soccer anymore, but that dynamic is still different. So structurally, her body's not quite even. But she comes in, she wants acupuncture or Reiki. I'm happy to do that. But if at the structural level she's out of balance, until I help realign that, those muscles in her back that are all tensed up that I can use modalities to get rid of, they're still going to tense up because her postural alignment or her muscular balance is off. We need to address that physical level first. And then we can work on the other bodies, which I personally have more interest in this because there's more things I can do with acupuncture, Reiki. It's like the entire psyche is open. Medical is like almost like the basic level. There's our consciousness.
Are we doing on time? Are we got another?
Okay.
Listen, we could go on
No.
forever. Okay, so the point here is that there are all these different things working on our system, and the Chinese have been saying that forever, but now there are sort of Western tools where people can, you can actually see it if your intuition isn't guiding you. And there are so many ways that people can heal themselves. I'm going to give you this piece of fruit. I hope that it nourishes your
All
body.
right. Thank you.
Lucy, I forgot to give you some fruit seeds. Here, Lucy. All right, everybody. Fruit for everybody. If anybody would like to support the Laurs Shepherd Show, I invite you to be a patron on Patreon. You can leave some money in the tip jar. Anybody is always welcome to come to the show in person. You can send me some cryptocurrency,
All right.
of which, we have more time. But anyways, all right, bye!
Thank you.
Thank you